Welcome to E360 TV, the live streaming and on-demand destination for influential voices and enlightened audiences. We offer trending, grassroots, and purpose-driven content across a diverse range of interests. E360 TV is more than just watching programs. We offer the ability to interact with live shows connecting audiences to real, authentic influencers and storytellers while streaming to millions of devices. Real experiences. Raw conversations. One destination for it all. E360 TV.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning to you. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments. I'm your host, Lauren Michaels Harris, and it is an exciting day in the neighborhood. Today is the 27th day of July, Julio, for you who speak Espanol, and I'm excited to be here. The sun is coming out here in the Chicagoland area. How are things shaping up in your neck of the woods? I'm so excited to bring you a wonderful guest today. It's her first time being here, so you know what we do. We wrap all around them, love up on them, let them know that this is a safe space where we pour into each other, and we are welcoming the opportunity for them to pour into us. So with that having been said, can I get an amen? There's the bell of purpose. You know what that means? It's not just a little prop. The bell of purpose is an opportunity. What it means is when you hear me ring that bell, you know, we do a lot of things while we're doing a lot of things. It's called, what do they call that? Multitasking? Yeah. So sometimes we're distracted, and I don't want you to miss something that could change your life. So when I hit the bell, it means listen up, lean in. You might want to put back the car up, throw this in with you, and take it home, right? Again, can I get an amen? There it is, the bell of purpose. Well, how did Kelly Smith find her way here? Well, I saw something that was like, hey, I just started learning about that, and I want to know more. And you guys know I like to share everything that brings joy into my world with you. Now, you know, when was it? Back in May, See, remember, I started my own little garden for the first time, only because on the side of our home, there's this retaining wall. You see it there. And the bushes hang over. I cut them back. But this little patch just always stayed bald. And I said, well, what can I do? What can I do to make that better looking? Just, more useful. So I did it. I went and I bought some seeds. I didn't want to cheat and start with seedlings. So I bought some seeds. And now you should see it. You can't see any of that fence. The cucumbers have taken over. We've already harvested 2 batches of green beans. I should get my 3rd one today. And some radishes, some carrots. I started pretty light this time, first time. So I was looking, doing this thing, scrolling, and I saw something about microgreens. And that's where I found Miss Kelly Smith. She's the owner of Beyond Lettuce. Okay, and she's going to let us in on why this is so important to her and why it should be important to us. But before we get her in here, a little bit of business. Let's see here. Next month, if you guys want to join me, I know a few of you are already, we've talked, coming to Las Vegas, I will be presenting at the Star Trek convention. And that's where I'm going to be, at the Star Trek convention, keynoting at the Wrath of Khan Vegas celebration at the, what's it called? I think Piranha nightclub at the Rio, and also hosting a few VIP parties there. Excuse me. And I'm excited about that. I also today want to send, I'm going to keep doing it. I told you, I'm so grateful to Dr. Robert Garcia. He is a good friend of mine. He is my business coach. And I've met so many wonderful people that you've met, a lot of them here on the show, military veterans, Annette Wittenberger, James Phelps, Marty Martinez, the list goes on and on. But anyway, this past week, as a lot of you know, I was really blessed, able to make the cover of Shift magazine. So I'm going to show you my thank you to them because, just like I'm so grateful for Kelly today being here. We think sometimes that when we cross paths with people, it's only for an instance. Well, sometimes it's for a lifetime. And I know that's how it is with a lot of us here, that we are here together because we're meant to be together. So here's my thank you to all of the wonderful people at Shift Magazine who gave me a moment that I know wherever I'm at when it's time to transition, I'll be looking up on a wall or in some kind of a photo album or something at all the fondest memories that I've been able to live in this journey. And this is one of them. Okay, thank you, Shift Magazine, Tammy Moses, all of the team over there. I get excited every time I see that. And it's just, there it is. They did a great job. My phone has been ringing off the hook. I'm so excited. They just are wonderful people. And you notice in there, I say, let's all soar together. And that's what it's all about. It's about us helping each other get to where it is we were meant to go in this world, in our lives. And so that's why I love you guys so very much. And today we have, like I said, a newbie. Her name is Kelly Smith. She is the owner of Beyond Lettuce. Now, microgreens, okay? She said to me this morning, because originally she wanted to bring in a couple friends, but unfortunately that didn't pan out. She goes, I don't know if we could fill an hour of content just on microgreens, as if it's boring. But you know, the things that we do that are a regular part of our lives, to us, it's easy. To other people, it's like, how? How do you know, you're so brilliant, so smart. Yes. So we're here today to let Kelly know that I'm grateful for her, because I'm at a point in my life, just turned 59 years old on the 4th of July. And I just want the ER that life has to offer me each and every day. I already wake up great because my eyes opened up. So I want to take great to greater. I want to take strong to stronger. I want to take nice to nicer and bright to brighter. Can I get an amen? Right? So it's the little things that mean the most, including what we do. Now, I know I was like, okay, I've seen these little garnishes and things on, different plates here and there. But I did not know why they're there. A lot of us will pick them off, right? And say, oh, it's just a garnish. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. So let's take a look at this. Here's a little something to help us understand what we're talking about here today. Look at this.
Today we're going to talk about microgreens. What are they and how do you use them?
What are they indeed? Do those look familiar? Right?
You've probably seen microgreens popping up all over the place, whether it's on Instagram, if you're following different kinds of chefs' pages, or even in your local grocery store. Over the last few years, they've really grown in popularity. So what are microgreens? Microgreens are just the seedlings of different herbs and vegetables. So if you plant a bunch of microgreen seeds, so things like arugula, basil, cilantro, beets, the first 2 or 3 leaves, those would be considered the microgreen. I like using microgreens not just because they look beautiful and they're great for adding color, texture, and height to different dishes, but also because—
What kind of cheese is that? Does anybody know? Put in the comments.
Adds different flavor to a dish. For example, you can buy micro arugula or basil to add flavor to something that's Italian inspired, or things like micro radish or red and green mustard to add a little bit of spice to a salad.
Yeah.
The reason I like to use microgreens instead of more traditional lettuces is because the microgreens that I use are actually grown locally. I buy mine from a local grocery store that sources microgreens from a company called Greenbelt Microgreens, which if you're from Ontario, I really suggest you check out. They focus on responsible ecological growing practices, creating local jobs, and they're doing a lot of other really great stuff. So I'm going to put a link down below if you're interested in seeing what this company does. Anyway, if I'm choosing between some Bobby Boy lettuce that I have no idea where it's coming from, or a local microgreen, then I'm going to choose the microgreen every time because I know where it's grown. I know it's grown by a company that focuses on sustainable growing practices. The other reason that I really like microgreens is that you can grow them yourself. They're super easy to grow and they can be harvested in about 2 to 3 weeks. I grew some last year and I'm planning on ordering some seeds to grow a few more again this spring. There are a ton of different varieties of microgreens. I've really only scratched the surface, but I really encourage you to experiment at home or in your kitchen. If you like this video and you'd like to see more content like this, make sure you hit the red subscribe button down below, and I will see you guys next time.
Thank you, Kelly. Always a joy. Now, while that's getting off the screen, so let me get rid of that. Okay, so microgreens, there they are. Another little tidbit here you might not know. Microgreens are also a great source of beneficial plant compounds like antioxidants. What's more, their nutrient content is concentrated. Now, what that means is that they often contain higher vitamin, mineral, and antioxidant levels than the same quantity of mature greens. Researchers actually looked at 4 groups of vitamins and other phytochemicals. I hope I said it right. You know me, there's a rule on this show, no words with more than 6 letters. But I broke my own rule that time because you need to know, including vitamin C, vitamin E, and beta carotene. Now, in 25 varieties of microgreens, count them, 25, researchers found that leaves from almost all of the microgreens had 4 to 6 times more nutrients than the mature leaves of the very same plant. See? I'm a lazy man. I like to get from point A to point B just as quickly as possible. If I can get 4 to 6 times the nutrients from some itty bitty microgreens, what route do you think I'm going? You got it, the microgreen route. And who's going to tell us how to do it? Nobody but the best. Here she comes, you guys. Put your hearts on the screen and put them into today's conversation as we bring our good friend, our new friend, Miss Kelly Smith, the owner of Beyond Lettuce. Here she comes. Look at that. You already are a good influence on me. You got me eating cucumbers.
Excellent. I love your little garden. That's fantastic.
Thank you. I didn't know what I was doing. I'm gonna put this in here. You know how on the back of the seeds it tells you how many inches apart, how tall they're gonna get. I'm not a numbers person, so I started really trying to do it the way they said, but like the seeds were so little, I was like, that doesn't look like enough. I'm gonna just put the whole thing in. Right now, I need to go in there and thin it out because like my radishes aren't gonna get big and plump because they're too crowded.
Right.
So I got to go in and do that, and I'm gonna do that. But I just wanted to see something pop out of the ground first, then worry about what came next, right?
No,
So
nature
Kelly,
doesn't measure. You know, nature doesn't measure either. Just put some seeds in there, and what happens, happens.
That's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking.
As long as you get started, that's good enough.
And that was the part that was most important because I figured, it's my first year out. I'm allowed to make some mistakes, but I'll never know how to grow if I don't go and start growing. So Kelly, tell everybody where you're at in the world. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what kind of family you got and how'd you get started in microgreens?
Well, my journey to microgreens was very long, but I have always grown stuff in some fashion. So I grew up on a farm as a child. I grew up in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Okay.
Joined the military at 17. Left. I did my one tour and was done. It wasn't the thing for me.
Right.
But I'm still grateful for the experience.
What branch were you? Could I ask?
Army.
Who?
Army. U.S. Army.
Army. I'm familiar with the Air Force because that's what I was in, but you said Army.
Oh yeah, but that's okay. Not everybody can serve in the military. So.
But you said Army. I'm sorry. You gotta go. Sorry, no Army people. I'm kidding. I always do that to anybody that's not in the Air Force. So okay. And I was the same way. I went in, did my bit, and got out. But it was still one of the greatest decisions of my life. So I'm looking behind you now.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Tell everybody you didn't start with all this expensive equipment we see. How did you start? Was it those little milk cartons like from grade school, the ones, and you put little things and put them in the windowsill, some cups you cut off, Dixie cups, red cups. How'd you get started?
Well, tomatoes. I think tomatoes, everybody likes growing tomatoes. So, I snack on tomatoes like candy. So like it's very hard to go, around my space and not find some cherry tomatoes laying around. So tomatoes is probably my first thing that I grew. But a few years ago, my family and we bought some land out in Virginia. We were going to do the homestead thing. I've got 5 children. And so we were going to, homestead and do the kids out in the country thing. But I ended up getting really sick. And it turns out my genetics are not meant for outdoor work. I have very low tolerance for heat. I get really bad headaches. I break my hives all over. And so sunshine, lots of sunshine and heat were not in the cards for me. And so I switched. I had my brother actually showed me a video, who is also Air Force, by the way. He's sound right for you. And I have a brother and sister in the Air Force. So, but they showed me this video on aquaponics. You showed me a video on aquaponics, and I was like, well, I have a fish tank in the garage. I'll pull it out and dust it off and give it a try. And that was sort of the beginning of the journey to growing indoors.
Did you say fish tank?
A fish tank.
I have a spare fish tank in the garage. How does that come into play?
So aquaponics is indoor growing, but you use your fish tank as your nutrient source for your plants. And so it's a very closed loop system. And so that was the beginning of my sort of education into growing stuff indoors, because I wasn't going to not grow stuff. I still wanted to grow my own things. I just couldn't spend large amounts of time outdoors. And so I started doing all the research I could on growing indoors, doing hydroponics. I did start with aquaponics, but I eventually dropped the fish and just did hydroponics strictly. And I do have I do have mixed systems, not in this current location, but I do have vertical gardens that I grow a lot of herbs and things with. But here in Tyson's Corner with the actual like business piece, I'm growing just microgreens because my customers demand them. That's what they want.
Did you say
And
Tyson's Corner?
Tyson's Corner, Virginia, right outside of DC.
Is that where you live?
I live in Alexandria.
Oh, I was just there.
Yeah, I saw you there.
You saw me in person?
Yeah, I was with Annette Wittenberger at the
When I bought her
outdoor
hat?
event. I was wearing a hat. Yes.
No, I bought one. Remember, I bought one from her.
Yeah, the
Yeah, it's
lady
right
vet
up there on
lady?
the wall. Yeah. So,
yeah, the lady vet. I forgot her name. She's so sweet. But yeah, I had one of her hats on. Small world.
Yeah. So were you there with your business, or you were there supporting?
No. So my product is too fragile for an outdoor event. So when Donnell does an indoor event again, is with the first event that he was going to do was indoors, but then COVID shut everything down.
Mm-hmm.
So the last few events that he's done are
Outside.
outdoors, and my microgreens are too fragile. So they'll just if it's too hot, they'll just fall over.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting for the next indoor event, and then I'll do it.
So Kelly, hydroponics, I'm gonna tell you exactly, I'm gonna give you some organic feedback. See how I put that in there. Some organic feedback. When you started talking hydroponics, of course, that's a word with more than 6 letters, and there's a rule here. So watch it. But no, I am very intimidated by science kind of things. Even though I've always liked it, I like it when someone's showing me how to do it. Now, is this the kind of thing a person can learn like through a YouTube video? Is if we don't have a lot of money to get started, is it not so difficult, or is it difficult? And then finally, because I put a lot of questions out at one time, so I can like eat and stuff while you talk. So see how I do that. But also, I want to know, it looked like I have some micro lettuce growing right now, not on purpose. It just something kept digging in the pots outside that I had it in. So now I have one container, and I noticed she was saying, the girl in the video was saying that you have to do them in the spring. Was she talking about outside? Hydroponics now you can do anytime, right? Because it's indoors.
That's right. Well, that's the whole reason why I did this, is because I can't do stuff outdoors.
Okay, that's right.
So if I spend more than 30 minutes outdoors, I feel sick. And so I have to stay in air conditioning. And so I only grow things that grow well outdoors. But when I first discovered microgreens, there's a second reason why I do this. And the lady in the video actually undervalued microgreens.
Okay, good.
Let's hear you bring it up. I'm gonna have to tell you, because you're gonna not live without them after this.
Okay.
They're not 4 to 6 times they're the natural. That's sort of like a general consensus. Most microgreens, especially the most common ones, are 40 times more nutrient dense than their mature counterparts. We're not talking 40. So we're talking like daikon radish. You think of a daikon radish as like Japanese restaurants. These watery, like light things and their nice little crunch. Microgreen daikon radish are more than 60 times nutrient dense, and they're like one of the best sources for vitamin E that you can find. Excuse me. Sunflower microgreens are almost 25% protein. So if you're a vegetarian, vegan, and you need protein in your diet, sunflower microgreens. Because most, and that's a nice change from like beans and lentils.
Right.
Cabbage, 60 times vitamin K, 60 times more, for a gram by gram comparison. And even lettuce. So like the reason why Beyond Lettuce is the name is it actually irritates me that a salad is basically a bowl of lettuce with some toppings. And lettuce has 0 nutrient value. It is basically empty calories, and it's crunch and some texture. And so we use it all over the place for that crunch and texture. But what's the point of having empty calories if you are hungry in 30 minutes?
Right.
And so I would really like you to replace anywhere that you use lettuce with microgreens, because nutrients. So lettuce takes nutrients. You have to feed it nutrients in order for it to grow, but it does not provide those nutrients to you when you eat it. It's gone by the time you eat it. So it's basically a resource hog.
Wow.
So don't eat
Who
lettuce.
knew?
But you can
So-
eat lettuce microgreens. But lettuce microgreens actually does give you all the nutrients that you normally would have in lettuce. You can get that as a microgreen. It just doesn't taste that
So,
great. It just,
here's my deal with this.
Yeah.
Because I've been growing some stuff. Now, if I'm
Mhm.
growing microgreens at home, unless I'm going to sell them and have, can make a bunch of them, grow a bunch of them like you have behind you, and I'm sure you have others, it's probably better for me to just go and buy them if I can, correct? Because
they are expensive. So right now, the cost of microgreens, because they're kind of a pain to grow.
and you don't get much.
And you don't get much, but you don't need much. So
Okay.
when you see that garnish, do not pick it off. Eat it, because even
I don't pick it up, but I usually eat around it.
Supplement right there.
So, you guys out there, tell the truth, because I know I'm not the only one. I mean, if I get a couple pieces of it, yeah. Well, I was going for like that thing where I said, "What's that cheese she's got?" I would be going for the cheese and the tomatoes and stuff, and thinking, "Oh, that's just the garnish. That ain't nothing."
Yeah, it doesn't look like much, but there's some muscle in those little greens. Eat them; they want to be eaten.
Did you recognize those microgreens that was on that little salad she had?
Well, a lot of the brassicas look the same. So broccoli, kale, a lot of those as babies, they look identical. I could even show you like a couple. They look the same, but they're all worth eating. They're all worth consuming for sure.
So do you eat microgreens in your diet every day?
Every day. Like I have some in my kitchen that I constantly pick from.
What meal? I mean, do they find their way? Okay, let's start with breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
What microgreens do you include with your breakfast? Say if you have
throw it on top of eggs, like anything that's made with eggs, put it on top of it. If you do like a bean dish or anything like that, put it on top of it. Lunch, if you have a sandwich, leave the lettuce, put the microgreens. Just microgreens and tomatoes. If you have tacos, use microgreens instead. Pizza, it's awesome on pizza.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Now
so
look,
just about anywhere you would normally use lettuce, use microgreens instead.
Okay, here's a question. My husband, Brian, is allergic to regular lettuce. What's that regular lettuce called? Iceberg.
Iceberg.
Right. So he has to always.
Lettuce is garbage. It should go away.
See? And because he always likes romaine, but he doesn't like the garden mix so much. Sometimes there's some bitter stuff in there, arugula and all that. So what about for a person like him? Is because of the iceberg issue, does he need to worry about any of the microgreens, or is that just like?
I mean, that's an it depends question, but the best way to test is just use the inside of your forearm and just take a little tiny bit and just rub it and see if it reacts. And so if you just have a tiny little thing, so that's and then also the inside of your lip. If that there's with allergies, it's kind of because they can be dangerous. But if it's a mild allergy, just test, rub it a little bit on his forearm, and that's probably okay. But honestly, like I'm not a doctor, so.
Right. So we're gonna get into.
You can skip lettuces, like have broccoli. Broccoli microgreens are usually really easy to find. They're cheap to grow, and they taste like broccoli, but they're little tiny. They're little tiny greens.
Did you say was it sunflower? Which microgreen has the most nutrients of all?
Daikon radish, and broccoli is a close second.
Daikon radish?
Daikon.
Is there more than one kind of radish?
What's that?
I'm thinking red ones. What are those?
So red ones are. So I grow a purple one. The red radishes, like I haven't grown that one as a microgreen, so I'm not 100% sure on that one. I have a purple one because it's beautiful and it has a really nice bite to it. And I have daikon radish because of its nutrient value. Daikon radish looks very boring. It's just kind of pale, but it is so nutrient dense. It's worth eating even a tiny bit.
I just love this. I actually love it. I'm so glad I'm learning this because it's a great way to get a lot of punch in a little bit, especially for people who have children. You know what I mean? And now let me ask you this. Is there a difference between I mean, can I serve the same things to adults as I can children when it comes to these microgreens? Because it seems like
there's no, because it's a sort of a plant, your body is going to sort of process it. And so it's not going to do any harm to children whatsoever. Whereas taking a vitamin, with vitamins, I think it's like iron. That's like the thing that you have to worry about with poisoning children.
Mhm.
But even though like a kale has like a good iron content, there is still a decent amount, but it's not enough to poison. So
Okay.
like even like I can't even think of what would harm a kid unless it's an allergy issue. I mean,
Okay. Okay. Good. That's good to
honestly,
know.
I tell all my friends who have children that don't eat greens to throw them in spaghetti sauce. Just
Spaghetti
dump a
sauce.
handful of microgreens in spaghetti sauce.
So
And
that's my next question. As far as using microgreens inside of a recipe, is it better to use your microgreens raw or bye, honey? Have a great day. I love you. I'll see you tonight. We'll be having microgreens with dinner.
excellent.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. So some things change when you cook them.
Yes.
What's the deal with microgreens? Better raw, no difference if you cook them. And I want to know, I add sometimes kale and greens to my smoothies. Stuff. Have you ever thrown microgreens in there?
All the time.
Okay.
Yeah, they're excellent in
Talk about
smoothies. So they're excellent in smoothies, and of course you're getting, you know, if you're throwing broccoli in your smoothies or kale or whatever, they're going to taste better because kale is actually a bit of a bitter flavor. But also they blend really well, and as long as it's consumed immediately, they do start to break down. The nutrients get lost over time, so a week later they're not as nutrient dense. But definitely in smoothies, they do cook out in like a soup or something. So I always throw them in at the very end. So
Yeah.
so if texture is an issue, like the stems and things, if that's an issue for some people, dehydrate them, then put them in like you would an herb.
And if you have a bowl of soup or something, you can always just sprinkle them on the top.
Sprinkle them on top.
Raw. That's what I would do. I do that with cilantro.
Just sprinkle them. Put a nice little clump.
Now, do
You want to get as
cilantro?
much as possible.
Do cilantro microgreens taste like cilantro? Because cilantro is very distinct.
That's
So
a
do the
good one.
microgreens
I actually
usually,
don't like cilantro.
so do those
Excuse me.
microgreens taste like their adult
It's
version?
subtle. It is a very subtle flavor, except for a couple of exceptions. So beet microgreens do taste like beets, and so, but that is a good thing and a bad thing depending on what you like.
Right.
So if you need something with an intense flavor, but something like broccoli it's a very subtle. You can taste like a broccoli-ish taste, but it's extremely mild, broccoli is the best one to use in smoothies.
What would you say? What do you hear as far as feedback from people that, like me, are just getting to learn the benefits of microgreens? What kind of testimonials and things are you hearing after they've incorporated them into their diets? What's the biggest thing that they say, wow, I can tell the difference because fill in the blank?
Most people absolutely love them. I do get a couple of people who just let them die because I was originally selling them live, and so it would be up to you to keep them alive until you use them instead of harvesting them, because I want them to stay alive longer. But then if you let them dry out and you don't take care of them, so it's the aspect of taking care of them was one negative feedback. But the second was the ones that actually do eat them. Like I always had repeat orders. Everybody wants more. They want more. They want to put it on everything. What other varieties can I grow?
Okay.
I currently have about 12 varieties.
Microgreens.
I want to constantly change and try new things.
Okay, before we go to commercial break, Kelly, let me ask you one other thing here. So, cost. I heard in the video they said microgreens are pretty expensive at the store.
Yep.
Now, because you get such a little amount, when you grow it, I mean, unless you're going to, really go all out, it would seem like I'm going to be drawn to go to the store and buy them. When we buy these microgreens, should we buy them when they're ready to use? Like green beans. You buy green beans, you can't keep them in the fridge for more than a day.
That's the only way to buy them. You can't get microgreens any other time than at perfect.
But I'm saying when I get them, I don't want to get them on Monday if I'm going to use them in a salad on Saturday.
That's right. No, buy them the day that you're going to use them.
Buy them so get them, use them, be done, one and done.
Yeah, they're good. Like once they're harvested, except for peas. Peas are the exception. Peas last about 3 weeks if you keep them dry. But everything else, they're going to be okay for about 3 or 4 days. But you do have to keep them airtight and in the fridge. And I usually put a little paper towel in there to keep the moisture out.
Keep the moisture. Yeah, like in a baggie with paper. Yeah. Sprouts. You do that with sprouts too. So, and we're going to get into that when we come back from the commercial break. But one last question. okay, we have a window box in our kitchen. A lot of people like to grow herbs and stuff in there. Can you grow microgreens outside of an aquarium or like what you have? And without lights and filtration and all, can you just put them in something and throw them up in the window box and grow them and eat them as they come?
Takeout container. Just get a takeout container with some basic potting soil. Sprinkle the seeds very densely, and you have to put a lid on it. So put a lid in the dark for about 3-4 days. Take the lid off. Spray it with just a spritz of water. There's your microgreens.
They need sunlight. It
needs at least a decent amount of sunlight.
Okay.
So actually they need less than what an herb garden. So if you have an herb garden that's growing well, microgreens will grow well.
Okay. Now, when we come back from commercial, here's another one I'm throwing in there for you to think about while we're gone. Seeds. I heard her say in the video, I order my seeds. So microgreen, do you order microgreen seeds or just seeds for the regular plant and put them when they're little?
They're the same.
They're the same.
Some things grow better. Some things don't grow well as microgreens because of how they grow. But for the most part, the seeds are identical. Like my broccoli seeds are the same broccoli seeds you can buy anywhere else. There's more of them. I have to buy by the pound instead of by the packet.
In order to get what you need out of it.
After the break, I'll pull over one of the trays and I'll show you them in more detail.
Okay, great. Get some of that stuff ready. When we return, we're going to take a hands-on approach this morning with microgreens as we take this conversation just another layer deeper within the onion of knowledge with the guru herself, the owner and brainchild of Beyond Lettuce, Miss Kelly Smith. You guys, we'll be right back. Don't go away. Promise me you'll share this out. I'll see you in 1 minute. Welcome back to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments. I'm your host, Laura Michaels Harris, and we're here today with Miss Kelly Smith, the owner of Beyond Lettuce. Now, before we get Kelly back in here, she's got a lot of stuff she's going to show us. I want to tell you about one of the newest things that I've incorporated in my life. Today's show is sponsored by none other than V8. V8 was something when I was growing up I thought was for old people. Well, now that I am an old person, let's just say older than yesterday. That's how I deal with it. But really, the more we age, the more it should become important to us what we put in our bodies and the understanding of why. So for me, instead of reaching for Diet Coke or anything like that, and Lord forbid, I reach for one of those, horrible, you know where I'm going, power drinks, okay, with all the sugar and all the different things in it. I prefer to reach for V8. Why? First of all, there's 2 full vegetable servings within each can, 60 calories only, 100% vegetable juice from concentrate. You can find it. It's easy. It's in I did this yesterday. I need to reverse these words or something. Okay, here we go. It's in the juice aisle of your grocer's. Wait a minute. Grocery store. Lord. Anyway, don't do like I used to do. Wait until after the fact, the damage has been done, to say, oops, I could have had a V8. Pop the top today and be on your way to a healthier lifestyle. Got to drink it or the contract ain't legal. V8, there it is. And now Miss Kelly is going to come back and tell us a little bit more about microgreens, how we can get started. Show us what you got there. I'm so interested. Now, what kind of room is this you're in? Are there windows in there? You got to have any kind of special air thing. What is that room you're in?
So, during the pandemic, a lot of these companies sort of moved their offices, remote. And so they left all these empty server rooms. Like either they moved their stuff into the cloud or they work from home. And so these server rooms are empty. So this is a former server room in a big fancy corporate building, and no one else wants this room. So I got a great deal, and in a co-working space that I absolutely love. And
I thought you were in your house.
No, I'm in a server room. So there are no windows. So all the lighting is artificial, but it is the perfect spectrum that my plants like. And I have my own air conditioning dehumidifier, so I control, but it's actually the same requirements for servers is what microgreens love. So the environment is perfect.
So here's something I bet you haven't been asked. So did you ever think you'd be doing something for a living where you would be able to sit next to a weed grower and have stuff in common? So have you seen those new lights that they got?
All the time. I get asked why I don't grow weed, and I have to say, like, I support the industry fully. And part of the reason I have all this amazing technology is because of the ingenuity of that industry. So, but I personally, the smell of fresh cannabis is too strong for me. So I cannot work with fresh cannabis. It's a very strong smell, and all the neighbors know it's there. So.
I wouldn't know because I get mine in gummies. I just say, okay, well, I do. I'm not. It's legal. So
yeah, I know there's good money in it, but it's
legal. And I'm gonna. I've already. I know about. I'm gonna have arthritis, rheumatoid. So I do it for the reasons that I need to do it. But I wanna hear about what all is behind you. Now, some lights are pink, some lights are white. What's the difference? Is there one? What's going on?
So the spectrum is actually perfectly timed for perfectly tuned for plants. So it's a red blue sort of light spectrum. So the white ones are actually full spectrum, and that is basically for photography. So the lighting on the pink one doesn't look as great, and also it's easier for me to see if there's some kind of issues with the coloring of the plant with the white lights. So I have both, so I can use them in different ways.
So you're telling me you have to be like a nurse or a doctor with these plants and actually get up there and make sure they're grown? What can go wrong?
A lot. I mean, it's still a natural thing, and so sometimes I can get contamination, like a mold or something like that. And so if I see it really quickly, I can deal with it really fast and not lose the whole tray. Sometimes it's more of just like the conditions in here are just light enough, because you're dealing with really tiny little plants.
Very fragile.
Trying to go like too much moisture, too little moisture. Something along that lines.
Do you put anything in your soil? Talk about that when people are getting started, because
I don't use
soil.
I don't use soil.
What do you grow it in? Boo-boo?
So hydroponic means water-based system.
So it's like an under filtration system?
I don't need a filtration system.
So what are the roots in?
Clean water. What's that?
What are the roots to those plants in? What are the roots in right now?
They're in a grow medium. So this is basically a tray of beets. And if I pull a little bit of this up,
they're really beautiful.
They're my favorite, actually. They're so awesome. So I grow in a medium, and each plant has a favorite medium.
Okay.
This is basically rock wool, and it's just a tiny little thin layer, and the roots grow under it.
Oh. God, those are gorgeous.
Yeah, they're pretty.
Now, that tastes like, you said beets.
Beets.
Now, the stems are red. When you cut into a beet, I have to have a drop cloth or something because it gets on certain things and it will not come out. So
it's not any different. These make sense too.
When you bite those stems, is it red?
Yep. Yeah, it will stain. Like if I drop some of these on my white table, it will make a little.
Okay, so no wonder they taste like beets. Yeah. Wow.
Yep.
Now, how are those ready to go? Are those ready to eat right
These
now?
are ready for harvest. Yeah, I would harvest these probably tomorrow.
And when did you plant those?
About 9 days ago.
So you got to keep track. Is every batch different when it's ready? Like 8 days here, 12 days there? How's that work?
It varies between 8 and 12 days.
Okay. So now what happens, Kelly? Now let's let everybody know. By the way, Kelly's business, Beyond Lettuce, actually launches officially this Friday.
Friday.
Right? We're going to talk about that. So what if you harvested, say, those beets today? What are you going to do? Do you have to have someone pre-order those? It's ready. You know where they're going, or
most of the time, yes. So I have two customers. So I have chefs are probably main. I actually had a bunch of friends that were chefs already, and so that was a good. I had built-in chef, clients ready to go when I opened, and so they told me what they wanted, and that's what I started with.
I see.
And then as I sort of built out the space and got more consistent, I am going to be offering a subscription box. So you can actually just order a box of whatever I have. And so that's sort of like the best way to get a good variety. And because I have 12 different things growing, like your box is going to be different each time, with the exception of peas. So I put a little bit of peas in every single box because they are very they're bigger.
So
they
is it
grow a
going to
lot.
come
Usually
looking like what
every
we
day.
saw? Is it going to come looking like what we saw in the video in little, okay, let's say I want a box, because I do. I want to try the subscription service. Month to month, you got to do it for 6 months at a time. How's that work?
So most of the people that are signed up that know me right now or they already know what microgreens are and they already want them. So they're weekly subscribers. And the amount that you get, if you're using them, excuse me, if they're using them for everything, you're going to go through them faster than, they're not going to go bad. You're going to eat them. But for people who are just sort of like getting to know, they're not sure, then I offer, you can get it every 2 weeks. You can get it every month. Like you can pick. Like it's not like it's this or nothing. It's either once a week, once every 2 weeks, or once a month.
Now you can, I'm in Chicago. You can ship them to me here.
I cannot ship. You have to be local. They're too fragile to ship.
Oh, man.
That's one of the reasons why they're expensive. So good news for you is I do have a kit that's coming soon, but you can order a kit on Amazon. They're not too bad. My friend Kim DeFiore and I, ordered one so that we can test it out. And most of them are these little like plastic, like shelving that you would find at like Walmart. And then with like little trays on them. And I was like, oh, I could do so much better than that. And she paid $50 for that thing. So I was like, I have some friends we can do better than that for $50. So we do have a kit in the works so that what you could do is just you put the kit together and then you just order a subscription for seeds. And I give you the right amount of seeds for that kit.
When's that kit thing going to be available?
It's going to be probably not to the end of the year.
End of the year. Okay. Okay. But we could pre-order during the holidays, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And say buy a kit for
I really like to have it available before Christmas. That would be fantastic.
Okay, but even if it's not ready to go, I could probably buy it for someone as a gift, and they could know it's going to start in January or whenever.
Yeah, we'll probably do like a limited run, depending on how many I can get made, and then because I do want them to be wooden.
Okay.
Because I want them to last forever. I'm not all about throwing plastic away. So
yeah. And that's almost the route I went with my little garden. I was going to buy one of those wooden things and put it on top of our hot tub cover. You know what I mean? And then my husband was like, no, you're not.
That would be awesome, but it would be too heavy to move when you want to.
I know. Well, because that's his thing out there in that thing. You know what I mean? I try not to get in it so I don't have to be the one that has to do all the chemicals and crap. So I get in there. Don't ask me to do it. That's me when he's sleeping. So.
I want to show you some more.
Kelly, I'm still pissed off that I can't just order it from you. I was ready to go. I was already fixing meals in my mind. I'm going to put it on this. I'm going to put it on that. I'm really excited about like when you said pizzas, all the eggs Benedict, all those kinds of stuff.
Yeah. You can turn anything fancy. You
Yeah.
can turn anything fancy with microgreens.
Okay. So how does a person go about finding who is doing the best job? Let me ask it this way. Is every microgreen grower good? Are there any red flags or anything we need to ask when we're vetting out who we want to deal with on a regular basis? Or is everybody pretty much doing it for the right reasons? It's so new. I'm just asking.
I'm going to say that it would be really hard to find a bad grower. So like microgreens are, they're one of those things that if something goes wrong, it's really obvious. And so if you see microgreens and they look like a microgreen, it's good. If you suspect anything, like the things that can go wrong, like mold is probably the number one. It doesn't get in the plant itself. If you wash it, it's still perfectly safe. So it's, the mold grows on the plant, not in the plant. And so it's perfectly fine. I think for most growers, honestly, you can just look at it and you can tell. You can see something is wrong. It's either brown or wilted or, something like that. And then you just don't buy it. Like you would any other produce. But most of the time with microgreens, you're going to get a good product.
So Kelly, if a person has a particular medical issue that they're dealing with, blood pressure, headaches, whatever the case may be, are there certain microgreens that really speak to helping certain conditions, chronic or other?
Yes, but honestly, you don't need to be that picky. If you are diabetic, if you are have any sort of blood pressure, that's one of those others, you should be eating microgreens. Honestly, eat them now. They will do your body a lot of good, and it really doesn't matter which.
I believe you. I believe
it's going to do you so much more good than any vitamin supplement that you can take.
But do you feel something different? Do you feel, man, I've got more energy? Or can you really tell a difference when you switch from like the regular lettuce with nothing in it to a microgreen? How long does it take for an average person to feel the difference that it's bringing to their life?
That's going to be one of those, it depends on the person, but I'm willing to bet you'd feel better in a week.
In a week. Okay. And good for people, like say women who are expecting.
Oh yeah. Like honestly, microgreens are so much better than vitamins. Like not only that, because you get the fiber, the benefits of fiber plus the nutrient density. And so and your body processes it so much better than a pill, which may or may not dissolve and absorb quickly. And you just don't know. But your body, was made. I mean, we are designed to eat plants and, meat as well, but we are designed to process it.
Yeah.
And so if you want your body to absorb the best nutrients possible, microgreens, that is what you need.
Microgreens. And you don't hear people talk about them. Like,
I know. Why? I don't know.
Well, that's why when I saw you, I was like, you know what? I cannot be the only one that is like in the dark about this microgreen thing. So that's why I thought it'd be great to get you on here. Let's talk beyond lettuce for a second. You got to be passionate to go this far with it. You're in a server room, you leave your family, you have 5 children and a husband at home and probably 25,000 pets on your farm. So why take it? I know it's so that you can have your thing that you're passionate about, but for what you do and what you bring to the lives of others, why this? Why is this so important to you? And how'd you Well,
honestly, a large part of it is because I am a mom. One of my kids actually cannot eat wheat and is on a gluten-free diet. And if you've ever had to read labels because something might make your child sick, that is such a frustrating life. You have to watch everything so closely. And so this is a really easy way just to make sure my kids are getting the nutrition they need. And I could just toss, it's literally clip and toss. If I've got some growing in my kitchen or if I have easy access to it, there's no prep. Or convincing them to take vitamins or, if they don't like it because it's salad or, it's green, I can throw it in something and hide it. And then I have a dehydrator, of course. And so dehydrating it and turning to a powder, they never know.
So if we're going to have to, every now and then, we're going to have to eat those lettuces that don't really give us anything other than crunch and texture. So it's okay to throw these microgreens in there to give us what we really are going for along with it. Do you do that? Throw it in your regular salads?
I throw it in everything. Actually, I don't really use lettuce as in my salad anymore. The more I think I just use it in like on hamburgers or something for that texture. But let's see. I lost my train of thought there for a second.
That's okay. It's probably all on the track with all my other thoughts. They run out of your life.
So yeah, I use anywhere else other than like a hamburger where you just kind of want that leaf. But I use spinach. I use spinach as my base with you know, I don't know, whatever. If I want something a little spicy, I'll do like arugula. But I want carrots. I want beets. I want, you know, I really want stuff. You know, like not, you know, like really. I don't like lettuce is not a salad. Lettuce is a garnish. It really is. It does not provide any benefit.
Right.
Just color.
A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't. And you sit there thinking you're doing the best you can.
It was marketed as a healthy product because of that, you know, it's just water. But it actually a glass of water does more good for you than lettuce does.
Oh, poor lettuce.
It doesn't even have that much fiber. I mean,
lettuce.
Fiber benefit, but it's not even that good. I know, I feel bad, but yeah. I mean, it is fine. It's fine for a base. Like if you're a chef and you want to, you know, something that is some throwaway to go on the bottom of a piece of steak or something, or a piece of chicken, it is great for that purpose.
But not
it
for
really
anything nutrition based. Got it. So on the screen right now is your brand new website. It'll be live in a few days for people, but I want you guys to get this. It's beyondlettuce.com. Couldn't be any easier. Keep it to the side. If you go there right now, it's going to say coming soon. She launches officially Friday, but in the meantime, head over to Facebook if that's your jam and just type in Beyond Lettuce and you're going to find it and start learning more about what we've been talking about here today. Kelly, I would love to get you back here, you know, let's say in 90 days or so after the business is, you know, started getting its sea legs and talk about how it's going, where you're going, and just so we can support you in any way possible. We thank you for your service to our country, and we thank you for your service to just the betterment and better health mindset for all of us. I've learned a boatload here today, and I'm sure you all out there have as well. So if you'd like, again, I'm going to throw it up on the screen. If you'd like to connect with Kelly, go now to Facebook. You can leave messages there. And then after the launch on Friday, you can reach her here and learn more at beyondlettuce.com. So Jerry Springer thought, any other thing you want to tell us, a little something that might surprise us about these microgreens that can push that person that's on the fence still all the way over to the healthy side? Anything at all? What do you got?
Honestly, just try it. Just give it a try. Like, what harm can it do?
Now, when we go in the grocery store, you know how they have the produce out flat on the stuff, but there's always those ones that are on the side where they mist it and stuff like that. And where do you traditionally find the microgreens? In the organic section?
They're going to be more like where the herbs are. They're usually in like containers because they're so fragile. They're going to be in some type of container. Okay.
So anything we need to look for on the labels?
Nope.
Okay. Look at the condition. Make sure there's no mold. Make sure they're not wilted. Right?
If it looks good, eat it.
And take them home. Wash them. Don't wash them. Makes no difference. Right?
If you wash them, you definitely wash them, but do it right before you use them.
Right before you use them. Paper towel?
Not if you're going to toss them in something.
Just toss them on something. Okay.
Yeah, unless you're doing like a sandwich where the moisture might be a problem.
Okay. What's the number one microgreen? What's the fan favorite right now?
Sunflower and broccoli.
Sunflower. And in the grocery store, is there a wide variety? What are we going to see when we go look?
No, you're only going to find them in like Whole Foods or Mom's or like specialty stores.
Okay. Okay, Whole Foods, you guys, everybody's got one of those. So there you go. And I will put these connectors into the chat once we conclude today's episode. And I'm hoping that you all, if you have any questions and you think about them later, shoot them at me or head over to the Facebook for Beyond Lettuce. Kelly Smith, thank you so much for coming in and pouring into us today. I absolutely love it. Hang out. I'll see you in the green room. And you all out there tomorrow, Hallis Wilborn is going to be here. He's got a great story. Wait till you hear what this guy is doing to make an impact in the world. And I have Todd Special here on Thursday talking about his brand new television show, Gut Check, where he's out there exposing those people that shouldn't even be selling anything. But, he's like, uh-oh, pulling off the wigs. And then on Friday, Dan Devey from Gaze in Space, who is they're bringing me to the Star Trek convention next month in Las Vegas, will be here talking about everything they're doing to support. So join us tomorrow morning. I'll meet you guys out front, God willing, as I always do, 8 a.m. Central, where we can come together, pour into each other. My sidekick, Lucy McGillicuddy Ricardo, will be here as well, and we'll do it all again. God bless you all. Now get out there today and do what we do. Love up on everyone in every situation you can. All you have to do to live your best version is to leave everything just a little better than the way you found it, just like Kelly Smith has done with us today. You guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you tomorrow morning for our next installment of Bathrobe Moments. Bye-bye. Thank you, Kelly.
Show me your soul.